There's something strange happening in the NHL right now, and it's happening in plain sight. The player at the center of it is Cole Caufield, one of the most dangerous goal scorers in the league, a name everyone knows, and yet he's still being talked about like he's not fully established, like he's still proving something. That gap between what he's doing on the ice and how he's being discussed is where the Real's story begins. Because when a player keeps delivering at the highest level and the tone around him still feels cautious, it means the league hasn't caught up yet. The game has moved on, but the conversation hasn't. And the NHL has been slow to adjust to what Caufield has become. To understand why, you have to go back to the beginning, not to a highlight reel, but to a draft night filled with waiting. Team after team passed. Cameras kept cutting back to the same player sitting there, watching his name slide further than anyone expected. It wasn't because he couldn't score. It wasn't because he lacked skill. It was because of one thing that followed him everywhere he went: his size. The talk around the league was predictable. Too small to survive. Too easy to knock off the puck. Maybe dangerous on the power play, but not someone you trust when the game tightens up at 5-on-5. It didn't matter that he was breaking records. It didn't matter that he was dominating players who would soon be in the NHL themselves. The league had already decided what kind of player he was allowed to be. That's where the story was supposed to settle. A great shooter, but with limits. A player with a clear ceiling. Fast forward to now, and that version of the story doesn't hold up anymore. More than half the season is gone, and Caufield is sitting near the top of the goal-scoring race. Not because of luck, not because of one hot stretch, but because night after night, he keeps beating the best offenders and the best goalies in the world the same way. Calmly, efficiently, repeatedly. What makes it even stranger is how quiet it feels. There's no non-stop hype, no constant debate shows circling his name. It almost feels like people haven't fully registered how extreme this season actually is. But when you stop and look closely at the numbers, and more importantly at how the goals are being scored, one thing becomes obvious. This isn't noise. This isn't a fluke. This is a different player. Last season looked nothing like this. The goals were there, but the process wasn't clean. He was shooting from everywhere. Bad angles, long shots, attempts that goalies could track the whole way. It looked like a scorer trying to force results instead of letting the game come to him. And the numbers told that story. The finish didn't match the talent. That's usually where players start to unravel. They press harder. They shoot more. They try to beat the problem by doing the same thing louder. But that didn't happen here. Instead of chasing goals, something shifted, quietly, slowly, almost unnoticed. And now we're seeing the result. This version of Caufield doesn't need volume. He doesn't need chaos. He doesn't need 5 chances to score once. He needs one mistake, one clean look, 1/2 second of space. And by the time anyone realizes what went wrong, the puck is already in the net. That's why this season doesn't feel like a breakout. It feels like a warning. And in the next part, we're going to break down exactly what changed, where he's scoring from now, why defenders are losing him in the most dangerous areas, and how this quiet evolution turned a too small scorer into a problem the league still hasn't figured out how to solve. To understand why this season feels different, you have to stop looking at how often he shoots and start looking at where he shoots from. That's the real change. Before, his game was built on volume. If he had a little room, the puck was gone. It didn't matter if the angle was bad or if the goalie was set. The idea was simple: keep firing and trust the talent. That approach can work in short stretches, but over a full season, goalies adjust. Defenders learn your habits, and suddenly, those shots stop going in. This year, that impatience is gone. Instead of throwing pucks at the net from the outside, he's waiting, he's circling, he's drifting just far enough to disappear from coverage and then stepping into space at the exact moment it opens. Most of his goals aren't coming from the boards anymore. They're coming from right in the middle of the ice, in the areas where goalies have the least amount of time to react. That's not an accident. That's discipline. It's the difference between hoping something happens and forcing the defense to give you what you want. He stopped settling for shots that made the stat sheet look busy and started hunting for shots that end games. And when you do that, everything changes. You don't need 10 attempts. You don't need chaos. You need timing. That's why his efficiency has exploded. Nearly every clean look now feels dangerous. When he gets the puck in space between the circles, there's no sense of relief for the goalie. There's panic. What's even more impressive is how little ice time he needs to make that impact. He's not padding numbers with endless shifts. He's maximizing every second he's out there. One mistake by the defense, one misassignment, and the game swings. That kind of efficiency separates good scorers from elite ones. But none of this happens without help behind the scenes. When Martin St. Louis took over behind the bench, he didn't try to reinvent the player. He didn't force him into a mold that never fit. Instead, he leaned into what made him special and added layers to it. That shift shows up everywhere. Away from the puck, he's no longer floating to open areas and waiting. He's cutting inside. He's getting position early. He's engaging in battles that people once assumed he couldn't win. Not by overpowering anyone, but by getting leverage, by getting low, and by understanding angles better than the player across from him. This is where the size argument starts to fall apart. Smaller players don't lose battles because they're weak. They lose when they arrive late or stand upright. He does neither. He gets inside first, uses his balance, and takes away sticks before bigger defenders can even lean on him. Those small details are what create offense before the puck ever touches his blade. There's a moment early in this coaching relationship where St. Louis shows him a simple fake shot move. Nothing flashy. Later that same night, it works in a game. That's not coincidence. That's a player being taught how to weaponize his instincts instead of suppressing them. And once that clicked, everything sped up, because now, when he doesn't have the puck, he's already creating his next scoring chance. He's moving defenders just enough. He's setting traps in the offensive zone that only show themselves a second too late. At this point, the goals aren't surprising anymore. They're expected. And in the next part, we're going to get into the most uncomfortable truth for goalies and defenders alike. Why a shot is so hard to read, why it looks unstoppable even when it isn't, and how deception, not power, is what's really breaking the league right now. At some point, the conversation has to move past effort and systems and land on the thing that truly scares teams: the shot. Because no matter how well you position yourself or how smart you play, goals still come down to one moment. And this is where Cole Caufield separates himself in a way that doesn't show up in highlight packages until it's already too late. What makes his shot special isn't power. Plenty of players can shoot hard. What makes it different is how little information he gives away before he releases the puck. Most goal scorers tell you what they're about to do without realizing it. Their body opens up. Their eyes lock in. Their hands pull back just enough for a goalie to prepare. Even a fraction of a second is enough at this level. He doesn't give that fraction. Right before he shoots, everything looks neutral. His body doesn't scream shot. The puck stays close, almost hidden, until the last possible moment. And then, with one quick pull toward his body, it's gone. For the goalie, that tiny movement is a nightmare. That's why his goals often look easy on replay. They're not. They're late reactions caused by deception. Goalies aren't getting beat because they're out of position. They're getting beat because they never saw the shot coming when they needed to. This becomes even more dangerous near the goal line. Most players running out of space have one option: throw it on net and hope. He doesn't need hope. Even from sharp angles, that same release gives him a chance to score, because the goalie still doesn't get a clean look. Then there's the one-timer. Elite shooters don't just wait for passes. They disappear before they arrive. He has a rare feel for timing, especially without the puck. Defenders think they've accounted for him, and then he drifts into a pocket of space that only exists for a moment. The pass comes. The shot is off his stick instantly. No dusting, no hesitation, just pure execution. This is where defenses start to crack mentally, because you can't just chase him. You can't just lean on him. You have to be perfect. And nobody is perfect for 60 minutes. Some players disappear when the game tightens. He becomes more patient. He doesn't rush. He waits for the mistake that always comes. That's why his goals carry weight. They don't just add to totals. They end games. He doesn't force himself into the play. He lets the play come to him, and then he finishes it. Numbers can tell you how many goals a player scores. They don't always tell you when those goals matter most. And this season, his timing has been just as impressive as his technique. Yet somehow, even with all of this, there's still hesitation around how he's viewed. There's still debate, still doubt, still people waiting for the other shoe to drop, which makes what happened next even harder to explain. Despite everything he's doing, despite being one of the most productive scorers in the league, his name was missing when a major international roster was announced. And in the next part, we're going to talk about why that decision stuns so many people, why it completely misses the point of what kind of player he's become, and why doubting him at this stage might be the most dangerous mistake yet. So where does all of this leave us now? That's the real question. Because at this point, pretending this is just another good season misses what's actually happening. We're not watching a player flirt with greatness. We're watching someone cross into a tier that changes how games are planned and how defenses behave. And once a player reaches that point, there's no going back. For decades, this franchise has waited for someone who could carry the weight that comes with scoring goals in this building. Plenty of talented players have come through. Some had great years. Some had big moments. But none of them broke through that invisible wall that separates really good from truly feared. That wall has stood for generations. And now, quietly, it's starting to crack. What makes this moment different isn't just the pace, it's the control, the patience, the confidence to wait for the right chance instead of forcing the next one. He's no longer chasing the game, he's dictating it. Defenders react to him, goalies adjust to him. Entire shifts bend around where he might appear next. That's not hype, that's respect. And that's where Cole Caufield lives now. He's not just beating defenders with skill, he's beating systems. He's beating expectations that were set long before he ever played a game at this level. Every time someone tried to define his limits, he quietly moved past them and waited for the next line to be drawn. That's why this season feels like more than numbers on a screen. It feels like a shift. This isn't a breakout story anymore. It's not about potential. It's not about proving people wrong for motivation. It's about ownership. Ownership of space. Ownership of moments. Ownership of games. And that's why the NHL doesn't just have a great goal scorer on its hands. It has a problem. Because the version of him you're watching right now isn't asking for permission, isn't waiting for recognition, and isn't slowing down. He's already arrived, and the league is still catching up.